Okay, welcome back to part two of a session where we're going to discuss everything about protein. So please stay tuned. Yes, Doc, let's continue this interesting session.
Thank you, Akash. So I'm going to be brief. Number one is nowadays I always talk about people need to prioritize protein. So protein is like why protein and which are the commoner sources of protein. Number one, why protein is so most people are familiar with carbohydrates, protein, and fat when they talk about macronutrients and things like that. But we eat food, not macronutrients. Number one. But one thing that I always want to highlight is so proteins are made of amino acids, and there are some amino acids which are considered to be essential amino acids. And there are some fats as well, which are essential fatty acids like omega 3. So, what do I mean by essential amino acids? It means our bodies don't have the ability to make them. So they obviously have to come either from food, or for some people, it may have to come from supplements as well. So your body doesn't have the ability to make those amino acids. And obviously, if you don't get them from your food, there is a situation of protein deficiency. And that may not show up as like some major disease suddenly or something, but you don't feel well, you don't feel energetic enough, you can't build enough muscles. These are some of the ways. Bone strength is another big one. Then, of course, there are essential fatty acids like omega 3 fatty acids. But the most important thing to remember is there are no essential carbohydrates. Your body has the ability to make carbohydrates from proteins and other things, and your body has the ability to create fuels like and again I'm not going into all that because some people, Akash, think that if you don't eat carbohydrates your brain is going to stop functioning. No, your brain has the unique ability to use something called ketones. But anyway, we are not going into ketones today. It is about
That's a
protein.
total,
That's
different.
another, yes,
Absolutely.
that's a different topic. So going back to proteins, now one more thing that I find a lot of people are afraid of eating protein, and I maybe it's like the myth that has come up. And I'm talking about non-vegetarian people, Akash. People who are vegetarian, yes, it is difficult for them to eat protein because most of the good sources of protein are animal sources. And sometimes I'll have people telling me, Doctor, I eat very well. I don't eat non-veg. I said, who told you non-veg is unhealthy? Like, are you culturally vegetarian? Then that's a different story. Obviously, no one is going to start eating, chicken and fish if they are, a vegetarian from birth. No, no, no. I don't eat non-veg because it is unhealthy. I said, who told you that? Number one. So protein intake for most people is very low. They don't even meet the basic requirement they're supposed to meet. And another second myth that a lot of people have is eating protein is going to, impact their kidneys. Do you hear that a lot, Akash?
Oh, a lot, a lot. So that's one of the reasons. Firstly, as we all know in India, if you look at India, India, almost everybody is protein deficient.
Oh, absolutely.
Just like everybody is pre-diabetic, protein
Yeah,
deficiency is again a very, very big issue that
yeah,
unfortunately we don't address enough.
mhm,
It's
yeah,
amazing, but everybody has this misconception or kind of, you could say, confidence that, oh, well, we are healthy, we eat healthy.
mm,
So,
yeah,
so they don't know anything about protein. They don't know anything about essential proteins, complete protein, nothing. But yeah, we eat
mhm,
healthy. Everything's okay. And then
yeah,
down the line, they're having all these issues.
yeah.
So this whole definition of we eat healthy is it is so subjective in India,
Oh,
especially.
absolutely. Yeah.
And as you rightly said, being a vegetarian is even a bigger challenge. But so let me ask you this: when a person comes to you for consultation, when you look at proteins, and would you do you also when you look at when you're planning the nutrition plan or when you're planning your consultation, do you look at class one proteins versus class two, complete proteins versus incomplete? So somebody is a vegetarian, and it's very
Mm,
difficult for them to get a class one protein because I think only paneer cottage cheese has is a very good source of class one. But if you're looking at all the dals and beans and all, they're not really that. The quality is not really compare if you're comparing to a class one. But for a vegetarian, how would you? Isn't that a challenge? Because how much paneer can you tell a vegetarian to eat?
yes.
Do you do do
Very,
you do you
very
give them a
interesting
supplement?
question, Akash. So that is the reason I brought up supplementation. So most people who are vegetarians, they think that, all these beans like, rajma and chana and all these are lentils, the dals. They'll say, oh, I'm eating protein, I'm eating dal. There is, number one, there is very little protein in that.
And so
Number
carbs, the
two,
carb content.
yes, that is what I'm coming to. Number two, all these vegetarian sources of protein from beans and lentils, they come with a huge dose of carbohydrates. So carbohydrates are not helping you if you're looking at metabolism and pre-diabetes and prevention of long-term, illness. So carb plus protein is not going to, and again, like you mentioned, the quality of protein, unfortunately for, people who are vegetarians, it's like I am non-vegetarian, so I am biased. So the thing is, yes, the quality of protein in animal products is much higher than in plant products. So that is why I mentioned supplementation. So Akash, this is my personal opinion, and I have talked about it before. For people who are vegetarians, getting adequate protein without getting a huge dose of carbohydrates is actually impossible if they don't supplement. That is number one. Number two, so believe it or not, now one more thing is about, protein and kidney disease. So people who have diabetes, they are always afraid of kidney disease. Some of them have early kidney disease already. And when I tell them, no, you need to prioritize protein. I want to, when you send a picture of your plate, I want to see more of the fish, some vegetables, and preferably no roti rice at all. It's like, don't serve yourself that. If your plate is full of other stuff, you shouldn't be having space for any of that. And how we traditionally serve Indian food is first comes the rice or the roti, then there is like tiny little bit of place for, non-veg is bad. So, that chicken is very tiny, or there's no place for fish or anything. So that is one of the things, is prioritizing protein. Now, one thing people don't understand very often, even doctors actually, what is a high protein diet versus what is just barely meeting the protein requirement. So basically, protein requirement is dependent on many factors, like number one is activity level, age. Older people need more protein. Pregnancy and all those conditions, they are different. Pregnant women need more protein, growing children. But another big factor is your activity level. So if you are a lot into fitness and you're very active, your protein requirement is more than what it is for someone who's sedentary. So I'm not going into all those complicated calculations, because basically the numbers we usually look at is 0.8 to 1 gram per kg body weight. Now here I'm talking about per kg body weight, but ideally it is per kg of what your ideal weight should be, or per kg of your lean mass. So I don't want to make it so complicated, because the problem, Akash, is most people are not even getting that bare minimum.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
if it is 0.8 to 1 gram per kg body weight, let us say your weight is 60 kilograms, you should be getting at least 60 grams of protein a day.
Daily.
One egg
That's
is, yeah,
pretty,
one
pretty
egg is
simple.
just 7 grams of protein. So if you think that you're eating a very high protein diet because you had 2 eggs in the morning and some tiny bit of chicken in the afternoon and maybe some fish at night, very likely you're not even meeting your daily requirement. So that is a myth, that people think they're eating more protein because they're eating non-veg at every meal. And what is very important for me, because all my patients are insulin resistant, is proteins do not increase your blood sugar and insulin the way carbohydrates. So carbohydrates like rice, roti, dal, chana, all these things increase. And another very important thing is protein keeps you satiated. So you will not be hungry for a much longer time. So you don't need to keep snacking. And again, that is for another conversation, Akash, where you need to eat 3 meals and 6 snacks a day. I don't know where that idea came from. But anyway, you don't need that for health. You don't need to eat 3 meals and 6 snacks a day. So if you eat adequate protein, and I don't mean you as in Akash, but I'm talking about other people, number one, you will not feel hungry, and it will not raise your blood sugar as much as all your chana and atta and all those other things. And most importantly, if you are going to need 0.8 to 1 gram per kg body weight, you are, number one, not meeting the requirement. Number two, it is not a high protein diet. Now then goes to the question of kidney disease. So in way back in I think 1994 or something, a very prestigious journal, no, New England Journal of Medicine, they did an actual study to see, because this is again sort of a myth. If you have kidney disease, you should eat low protein. That is not true. So they did a study where they put, and these are not mild kidney disease. These were quite severe kidney disease, moderate kidney disease. There wasn't a huge difference, and most nephrologists will again suggest that you eat. This is for kidney disease. Again, zero point 0.8 to 1 gram per kg body weight, which is the normal requirement for everyone. For a severe kidney disease patient, they need a very customized food plan, and there are special kidney nutritionists because they also have to maintain their electrolytes and all those things. For them, they consider a 1.2 gram per kg body weight as a higher protein intake. That is not what people with severe kidney disease or moderate kidney disease should do. But the point is, no one actually measures how much protein they're eating.
That's a very good point, because like you rightly said, that even people who are suffering with kidney disease, okay, they still need that minimum basic amount of protein that should
Absolutely.
not be deficient. Unfortunately, doctors scare their patients so much that they want to
Yeah.
eliminate. Oh, you have a kidney
Yes.
disease, you have to cut down protein. You have to.
Yeah.
When you cut down, it still can't go below a certain range. It still has you still want to meet that minimum requirement, which is so important.
Yeah. So, Akash, again, there are studies which show that if a person with kidney disease maintains a good diet, so good diet would definitely include, a bare minimum amount of protein, their chances of deteriorating kidney function is much lower versus someone who's not eating healthy. So this kidney, proteins will make you get kidney disease, and definitely this does not apply to people who have normal kidney function. Proteins are not going to, make you get dialysis or kidney disease or anything. On the contrary, if you're eating more protein and you have diabetes, your blood sugars are very likely going to be managed much better
Much better,
than
exactly.
when you're eating a whole lot of carbohydrates, which you think are very healthy. So one thing, Akash, which really bothers me is I keep saying, biscuits are killing Indians. So person with diabetes will have two of those bland biscuits. That is in the dietitian's chart. I couldn't believe it.
Every Indian household, you will find some biscuits or the other. And
I
if they're
know.
not regular biscuits, so now you have these whole meal multi-grain cookies,
Oh yes.
which are just the same. Just the
Yeah.
same. Oh well, you know what? They're whole grain, they're healthy. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
And all the trans fats in them. So it's
It's
anyway.
all but I'm,
So
I'm glad you really made this point, and it is so important that diabetes can be managed so well with adequate protein, which again
oh,
people
absolutely,
uh,
absolutely, and high quality protein, not like
right.
just
So let me. That's very interesting. One of the interesting things that you said was about meat. A lot of people
Mhm.
have a misconception, like you said, India being predominantly vegetarian,
Mhm.
and predominantly being told by so many people that vegetarian diet is the way to do it. Whatever, thanks to veganism coming in now. I don't want to go there because that is again a
Yeah,
very,
yeah,
very dangerous ground
sensitive
to
issues.
tread on. So without
Yeah,
going over there, let's stick to just vegetarian. A lot of people think that meat is actually toxic for you and it actually do a lot of harm. It's a lot of cardiac issues by eating too
Mhm.
much red meat and all. But I always say that when I talk to people that meat is probably one of the most nutrient dense food on the
Yes,
planet.
yeah,
Okay, it is full of nutrition. I mean, no
Mhm.
vegetarian food can even get close to there.
No,
There's so much nutrition in meat. But
yeah,
here's my question to you: is now when we talk about meat, isn't it important to have really high quality meat?
yes,
Because in the West, I understand in the West you get grass fed meat, which is
grass
what
fed. Yeah.
everybody is talking about. But when we
Yeah.
talk about India, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm vegetarian, so I don't know much about what's available in the
Mhm.
market. But how would you compare the quality of meat over here and there?
It's very a very important question, Akash, you brought up, because my patients ask this all the time, and I tell them I don't have an easy answer, because commercially produced meat, chicken, and things like that in India, like these broiler chickens look like fat, and they have been artificially fattened. And what really bothers me, and there are some studies in Delhi, in the NCR region, they had looked at feedlots and the amount of antibiotics in these feedlots. So they add antibiotics to these commercial feedlots of chicken so that the chicken fatten up. Now, obviously, you are getting a dose of, not you, you're vegetarian. If I'm eating that chicken, I'm going to get that antibiotic as well. And that is something that messes up the gut bacteria completely. So, in Mumbai, we used to call this the gouty chicken, the country chicken, so to say. That is a much thinner and like more scrawny looking chicken. So people think, oh, this doesn't have enough meat. But one thing is that could be healthier. And again, I'm just saying, Akash, based on, no, I have not checked the data because truthfully, I don't know what the country chicken is eating. you know, we assume the country chicken is, grazing freely in the this thing. So this is one. Another thing is about mutton. Again, I don't know. I wish some journalist or someone would do a really good this thing to look into where our food comes from. While you said, I live in Alberta, and Alberta is known for its farming and Angus beef and grass fed and grass finished. So just yesterday, Mikhal and I, we haven't posted the video yet. You're talking about nutritionally dense food and omega 3s coming from things like lamb and beef. So quality of meat is very important, but at the same time, in India, it's a little. I'm not sure. Like when I'm in India, I eat whatever is available there, and so whether that is no, that is definitely not the best, probably. But what am I going to eat otherwise? So it's not a simple, easy question to answer because we don't have a lot of the information. So that is the reason I talk about, if you use time restricted eating, intermittent fasting, you also get less of the toxic stuff because you're eating less anyway. So that is a very good question, which I, again, like I said, I don't have. And lamb and, mutton, this red meat and, heart disease, that is another for another long conversation. That is a myth. Red meat does not make you get heart disease. It is your carbohydrates, the biscuits, the
We should
cakes.
invite all the cardiologists to listen to this. Seriously,
Yes, I think we will. So
because
it's
it's so
all
important.
the roti and rice and poha, upma, then chana and rajma. Those are probably making your heart disease much worse than the fish or the protein or any of the other things. So
It's all
the
the
other
protein.
big thing, Akash, is Indian vegetarianism is predominantly grain eating, and grains are very inflammatory and
Yeah.
they increase blood sugar levels dramatically. So if someone's wearing a continuous blood glucose monitor, they can see. So it's not the same as the vegetarian food in Western countries when they talk about vegetarianism, not veganism. Many of them are actually eating eggs also, and it is a lot of vegetables and good quality fat. So again, eating real food versus Indian vegetarian food is very high in grains and things like beans and lentils. Not even so much of paneer. Most of them are not
Yeah,
eating
yeah.
paneer every day.
Very few houses even cook paneer, maybe just once a week or twice a week. So when I
Mhm.
and in our house, I mean, being a vegetarian, so I eat paneer every day for lunch and for
Yeah,
dinner. So when I tell that to people, they're like, they're shocked. Like, how can you eat paneer every day? I'm like, why
yeah,
not? How can you, the same way you eat eggs every day, you can eat
yeah.
paneer every day, right?
Exactly.
So, but people are like, oh my God, like, so
Yeah, I don't know what will happen if like they don't. So it's like you're talking about vegetarian people eating paneer every day. I asked my non-vegetarian patients. I said, "Why don't you eat non-vegetarian every day?" No, that will be bad. I said, "Who told you?"
bad for my heart.
Yeah, eggs. It's like eggs are going to kill me. No, no, no. You need a re-education in nutrition all over again. But my doctor said this. I said, doctors don't study nutrition in medical college. I can
And
tell you. That
this is
I
so
was
good.
there.
This is so good to hear this coming from a doctor, because if I say the same thing, people don't take me seriously. Not being a doctor,
Now you
but
can quote me, Akash.
yeah, no, but this is exactly, this is what we believe on Sutraletics. Just creating awareness and just breaking all the myths that people have so strongly believe in. So important.
Mhm. Okay, thank you very much, Akash. It's been wonderful talking to you, and thank you once again for having me on your show. And I look forward to more such conversations in the future. I learned quite a lot from you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you so much for coming and doing this. And this was such a great discussion that we had. And I hope everybody learns something out of this. And we see everybody getting to the gym. After
Yep.
hearing
And
this
eating
discussion,
more protein.
definitely class one. good quality protein.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Bye
you so
now.
much. Bye
You're
bye.
welcome. Bye.